The Life Changer, Chapter 7. When she was summoned by the Examination Malpractice and Ethics Committee via a letter asking her to report to the committee in a week's time, she tried to do what every lawbreaker usually attempted to do when caught. She tried to find ways around the rules. She couldn't. The established law of EMAL was so clear that most students, when caught, would simply pack their belongings and leave the school and go and sit for another qualifying exams to another university. That is, they would seek admission again through JAMB to another school. Most did not even bother to honor the summons of the Examinations and Ethics Committee. They would just leave since in the end they knew the outcome. Most universities had zero tolerance for exams malpractices. But when you were in the last semester of your final year, the desperation goes deeper than that. Leaving the school would literally have to be the last thing you would want to do. Sama therefore went and met Tomiwa and confided in her a predicament. Tomiwa was genuinely sympathetic and asked Tama what they should do under the circumstance. I was thinking of talking to Labara to talk to Abib, who would put a word for me in years of the committee chairman or the vice chancellor or someone higher up. You know, these politicians, they have their ways. They are very influential. Tomiwa nodded, knowing indeed that Salma's condition was desperate at the same time, doubting whether the strategy would work. Somebody higher up. Could she be referring to the visitor to the university? That's the president for crying out loud. But in a situation, one would try almost anything. Desperate measures, so said the sage, require desperate remedies. Salma did as she told Tommy what she would. Abib asked Labara to bring her to his office. It was the first time she was there. Tomiwa herself had been to the office only a few times, and she sat on the sofa opposite him. Salma took in the magnificent office in one glance. It was simply luxurious. It was tastefully furnished and had so much space. Salma wondered what they would be doing there. Then she espied a collapsible conference table linked to the wall facing the office entrance. The name on his desk read, Abib Lawal, Speaker. Salma heaved a sigh of relief. Abib was indeed no ordinary honorable. He was the Speaker of the House. After the state governor and deputy governor, he was the next most influential figure in the state. And to imagine that this was the man she gave fake number to and set it for his driver. God, what kind of bad spirit was pursuing me? He sat resplendent behind the huge mahogany desk and was turning from left to right and then left again on his executive swivel chair. Salma could not help admiring the power and influence behind that desk. She reckoned if anybody was going to get me off the hook, this guy would. He was very professional and businesslike when he said, I had your message from Labra, dear Salma. What exactly do you want me to do for you? I have to graduate, sir. Sorry, Honorable. I just have to graduate. It is not just one lousy general studies course that would see me expelled from the school. No, sir. You have to do something. I understand. You see, the only person I know who can assist us is Professor Dabo. Salma felt her stomach sink. She fought the overriding desire to rush to the toilet and empty her bladder. Why must this Professor Dabo keep appearing and reappearing in her life like a recurring decimal? Honorable, she began and paused. Yes, there has to be someone else. Like who do you have in mind? The Honorable reclined on his chair and took a long look at Sama. Then a thin, mischievous smile played across the corners of his lips. He pressed an invincible button on his desk, and the entrance door automatically locked. Sama did not notice this surreptitious movement. Like the chairman of the EMEC, that is, the chairman of the Exams Malpractice and Ethics Committee, he is a professor of biological sciences. What makes you think he would agree to a request? Because they said the man likes money a lot. Chairman of the University Ethics Committee being susceptible to financial underhandedness. That is a laugh. Honorable Abib actually laughed out loud. When it comes to money, every man has his price, Salmo said, laughing with him. He stood up from his chair and came to sit on the three long sofa nearest to Salma. I like the philosophy about every man having his price, he said. But what of every woman? Ours is a given. But sometimes, who is doing the pricing matters, she said meaningfully. Like, do I matter? Abib said. She said, if you do not lose the matter at hand, I will not. We were talking about the chairman of your committee. Yes, I made my own research and people said he can sell his mother's soul if the price is right. So, like, how much do you think we could offer him? Two, maybe 300,000. And if I give you the amount, what do I expect in return? When I gave you Tomiwa, what did you give me in return? You didn't give me Tomiwa, remember. She was to be your escape route because she didn't like me. It turned out that she did not mind going out with me. So the benefits is all has. Now the deal is different. How different? Salma asked. You want 2 or 300,000 naira. And I said, what do I get in return? Don't be mischievous, Honorable. First, you know that the money is not for me. Secondly, you know how we are with Labra, your friend. And thirdly, you know my relationship with Tomiwa, your girlfriend. So if what I suspect you're asking is true, you would know that it is not proper. We're not talking about property here, my dear. However else you choose to look at it is me who is going to lose money. I have no intention of trading argument with you. But why would I want to give money to the chairman of the committee? You. Why would your relationship with Labor affect what we are doing here? Did he not himself bring you in here? And Tamua, who would tell her, me or you? Salma shifted uncomfortably. She was thinking quickly. Would he really give her that kind of money? And if he did, would she be stupid enough to hand over everything to the committee chairman? If she didn't, what would she have to lose? But wait, let's cross the bridge when we get to it. I understand you, Honorable, but would you give me the money? Sure, if you cooperate. But your door is open, Honorable. No, it is locked. Salma was surprised. The most interesting thing was that even after she got the money from Honorable Abib, Salma found it hard put to give it to the chairman directly. She met one of the members of the committee who introduced her to the chairman outside the school. The chairman asked her if she was guilty. She said she was guilty, but that she wanted him to temper justice with mercy. The chairman agreed and asked her to meet him at a designated rendezvous, a hotel very far away from the school. She went there all right, but declined sleeping with him. She, however, offered to ransom herself. Just how much do you think you're worth under the circumstance? You tell me, sir. You know that I am not the only member of the committee. There are 4 other members, and their palms would also need greasing. I know that, and that is why I do not agree to what you were suggesting earlier. If the whole thing is cleared, We can come here again and celebrate. Just the two of us. What do you think? That's very smart of you, the chairman said enigmatically. But you still haven't told me how much you have in mind for you and your people. Maybe 200,000 would do, the chairman said. If I have 200,000, I would use it to get admission in any of these private universities. Samuel spoke with a confidence she did not know she possessed. She knew they were in a hotel all by themselves, and the man was talking freely, not minding the risk of being secretly recorded by her. Maybe it did not matter to him one way or the other. He knew she was the one whose life was hanging on the line. So how much are you parting with? He asked. I would give you 100,000, and it had better work. If it does not, I would so scream and you would not hear the last of this. Remember, you have more to lose than me when the chips are down. No problem, but such a threat would not help you under the circumstance. You are hardly in a position to make bargains. I just agreed to the sum because I know you are a student who needs help. She dipped her hand into the handbag she carried and gave him the money. He collected it, divided the bundle into two, and thrust them in his trouser pockets. Suddenly, a strange thought occurred to her and she voiced it out. Sir, I do not even know your name. He laughed. Of what use would my name be to you? If you are not divulging your name, then we might as well. Okay. Dr. Kabir. Muhammad Kabir. Okay, I would believe in now. But seeing you, he said and opened his arms for a hug. She declined and offered her hand for a handshake instead. Thereafter, she walked calmly out of the hotel and went home. When she was called to defend herself before the committee, she was first shocked to see that the person seated on the chair facing her was not the person to whom she had given the money in the hotel. Dr. Kabir was not a member of the committee. This was not possible. She looked again, peering closely and without shame at each member of the committee. Still, she could not see him. She did not start crying until she discovered that the man whom she hardly knew, who claimed to also be a member of the committee, and who introduced her to Dr. Kabir, was also not there. I have been duped, she told herself and began to cry. The man who was at the helm of affairs and other members of the committee mistook her tears for remorse and perhaps repentance. They advised her to calm down and narrate what transpired at the examination hall that day. She calmed herself and told them the whole story. In the heat of her agitation, she did not know when she told them that she actually received a cheat note from Kola Wali Abdul. And who is Kola Wali Abdul? A member of the committee asked. He is my classmate. Is there all? Just a classmate. And he would risk his academic career, discounting the possibility of rustication for just a classmate. Samu's stomach sank. In fact, she did not know the implication of dropping Kolawola's name. Why did she make us sleep like that? She pestered the boy to help her the way he pestered her to go out with him, and she declined, saying she preferred to remain good friends. He had agreed and kept his word and distance. In the end, however, she gave in because he was giving her private tutorials and he was the brightest. But for him to risk his academic life for her, and this was the way she was repaying him, it was not fair. It simply was not fair. It was also not fair what men were doing to her. No man ever treated her for her essence. They all related to her based on her looks, and all they ever seemed to want from her was dating her. That included Kolawole. She mentally ran the whole gamut of the men she knew in her life and came to the conclusion that except for her father, no man, indeed no man, was worthy of being called a man. So to hell with Kolawole and Abib and Labra, Dr. Kabir and all the others who claimed they were helping her by exploiting her. She laughed inwardly, and Dr. Kabir was going to pay. He was the one who took money from her. Instinctively, she knew now that she was not going to escape. She was going to be expelled. She knew that. Miss Sama, the chairman prompted when he saw that she was lost in an unpleasant reverie. Yes, sir. Are you telling the committee that the scholar Wally of a fellow who supplied the note to you just did that because you're classmates? Yes, sir. You have to tell the committee the truth. We do not believe anyone can be that stupid. Just tell us the truth. Your secret is safe with us. Sir, with all due respect, I do not see the relevance of you prying into my personal life. This is an exams malpractice committee. It is not the student disciplinary committee. Moreover, I do not see how my relationship with him one way or the other has any bearing on this case. There was total silence among members of the committee. This was unbelievable. How can a girl be this cheeky? Perhaps she had something up her sleeve. We know that, the chairman said, his voice faltering in spite of himself. All we wanted to establish was that there was no monetary motive behind what happened. Students have been known to collect or give money for academic collusion. I didn't give anybody any money. Okay, can we have his number? Yes, Salmo said and gave out a number. We are very sure you know the implication of what you did. What did I do again? Salmo raised a brow in affected innocence. I mean, you know the implication of examination malpractice. Yes, I do. Well, that's about all for now. You may go. Salmo hesitated. You'll hear from us, the chairman said. Salma walked out solemnly, though she managed to walk out with a gait of desperate dignity. Ma'am, what does she mean by saying Dr. Kabir would pay for it? I looked at Omar and smiled. And that's the end of Chapter 7 of the Life Changer JAMB novel 2024. Thank you for listening.